have a dilemma that maybe somebody out there can help me with. My ex-husband, he has, I don't want to say custody, but I'm estranged from my 3 adult children. And I can't go through them to try to get messages to him because they refuse to talk to me. So my dilemma is this. Um, we have like a cemetery plot. We each have one that we purchased together. And I just finally signed it over to him because I couldn't reach him. And there was no reaching out to him and getting to where, does he want to sell them together, or does he just want it or buy it from me or whatever. So I said screw it and just signed it over to him. He can have it. So so then now there's an issue with, I got an email from his work, not his work, but his insurance. And I don't remember ever being able to get into it, but we haven't been together in over, for like 10 years. And all of a sudden, I can log into his insurance and see claims and see personal information. Well, I thought that was kind of important. So I called him, and of course, he has me blocked. So I left a voicemail. I might have called twice and left a voicemail saying, hey, I can get into your insurance stuff. I can see when our 22-year-old daughter saw a psychologist on this date with this doctor at this facility. And I was able to give him specifics as in proof that, I can get into your stuff. Maybe you should consider doing something about this. And I don't want to mess with it because I don't want to get in trouble for fraud. So, because we are divorced and I, I don't belong in there, I understand that. So don't be sending me this shit. Keep track of your stuff and you won't have that problem. So then I texted him, and I don't think he even read it because he has me blocked. But I know from blocking other people, you still get the messages. They just go into like your spam folder or whatever. And eventually he'll probably read it. But it's like, I don't want anything to do with it. So change your shit. Um, because I'm estranged from my children, as you just got done hearing me say, I was able to log in. I was able to see where my daughter had a psychology appointment with what doctor on what day. Um, so, I've been able to find them on social media and find them, different places. And now that they're adults, I can do that still. I just try not to because estrangement is very painful. And I just don't want to go there anymore. I want to move forward. And it's been 8.5 years since I've seen my children. And I've written them letters. I've done quite a few things to try to reconcile, try to, you know, and she's 22 and she's seeing a psychologist. Maybe, okay, this is wishful thinking, I know, but maybe he'll be able to talk some sense into her that, it's your mom. Talk to her, reach out to her. That's wishful thinking, but that's okay. I can do that. So, I see that she's seeing him. Does it give me some hope? Unfortunately, yeah. It just does. Because, maybe they can go over, what all made us be estranged, and be able to tell her that, it's in the past. You're 22 years old. Um, you need your mom. Your mom wants to see you, depending upon what she tells him. And that's another thing. So, but I can't get a hold of, I know my youngest daughter, who's 18, I believe she changed her number. I can't get a hold of them on social media because they have me blocked on everything. But for the insurance, sure, I could leave it to where it is, log in whenever I want and see when her appointments are, see when their appointments are. But it's not my business, and it's fraud. And I don't need to go to prison. I'm in a pretty decent place in my life that I don't need to go to prison. It's that simple. I mean, yeah, I have misdemeanors on my record. Nothing major per se, but no felonies, and I've never been to prison. I don't plan on going anytime soon. So I guess what I asked for in the beginning is, what would you do if you were estranged from your three children? I know my son, who's 27, he bought a house, or I should say, he got married in October. He bought a house at the end of November. And I find things out. It doesn't take much. So I do know some things. I, for me, it's not so much what they're doing. It's a matter of how they're doing. I want to make sure that they're okay. That's my big thing. I know that I get these notifications from whitepages.com. I don't know how that came to be, but I do. And she's 18 and she's in the system under her nickname, which is really weird. But it made me go look in the court. We got a court system website, and I can go there and look her up. I don't know how she has a driver's license. She has 2 incidents already of really bad things that caused her to have almost 600, around 600 or so dollars in fines for things, not just, not speeding, not just, I mean, some pretty severe um, convictions, I guess you'd want to call them. But she's 18 and she's a bad driver. I didn't teach her. She's only 10, I think, when the last time I saw her. And yeah, about 10. And, they stayed where the getting was good. Daddy's got all the money. Daddy has the house. Daddy has all the comforts. Why should I go someplace strange? They wouldn't even visit with me. They didn't want anything to do with me, and they still don't. So I'm hoping that my daughter being in therapy will get her to think about things a little bit. She's not stupid. She's not the stupid one. I think she knows how to drive, because I think I've looked her up. But, because there's a lot of things that are public information, and you can look it up. But for what I know, she's not a bad driver compared to the other one. So I'm just curious, how do you get a hold of a narcissistic ex who thinks he knows it all? I have a deceased son who died when he was 8 years old. And I had 10 minutes to make up a list of things I wanted out of the house that I had owned and lived in for 8 years. I had 10 minutes to make a list of things I wanted to get out of the house. And it wasn't much. And I didn't even think twice about my son's things. All of the sympathy cards from everything from his funeral. everything from his life. I had a huge box of things um, that were, from school, things he did at school, um, things that when he passed away, people sent. Um, like I got a statue. I have an oil lamp. I have, things, but I was worried about my clothes. I was worried about, things like that. I never thought of that stuff. And then when I went, and this was not even his son, this was his stepson that he only knew for, I don't even think, a year, maybe a year. I don't know. But, he wasn't his son. And he won't even give me his stuff. When my son passed away, the news outlets, the media, had all these news stories, and the hospital collected all those news stories and put them on a VHS tape for me, all of them together, and gave it to me. Sorry, And I know it was in my nightstand. I never got it. I had a baby book for him. Never got it. He's a narcissist. He thrives on causing me pain. I mean, he got restraining orders on me, but he still visited me in my apartment, and we would talk about the divorce. And if I didn't agree with his demands, he would call the police on me and say that I had contact with him. I'd get arrested and go to jail. He's a fine piece of shit. But either way, it goes back to, how do you contact somebody you can't get a hold of? When it's something important, something that was overlooked. Um, this wasn't overlooked. I got this email from his insurance company, and I'm able to access his information. Yeah, you can just say, just don't go in it. Yeah, but when you don't have contact with your children and you want to know everything you can that's going on in their life, the temptation to go look is so strong. It's just unbelievable. Self-control, that I am not good at that. So if you have any ideas, I might reach out to his lawyer. She's a real piece of shit too. She's married to a judge, and they got away with murder, figuratively, in the divorce. And I ended up on the shit end of things. I ended up homeless. I ended up with nothing. And I'm not saying that for pity. I can pity myself. No, I've made it this far. I don't need that. And I don't even need to let him know I can gain that access. However, if he'd find out, he would turn me in. And I would imagine, something like that would be a felony. And yeah, I really don't need that. I'm pretty good where I'm at, and I don't need that kind of drama. It's really, going to prison is drama. It really is. But anyway, yeah, if you have any suggestions, I'd greatly appreciate it. Like I said, I've tried to reach him. I've tried to call him. I haven't tried to email him because God only knows what his email is right now. Um, I think I'm going to reach out to some of his friends that I have before. They don't answer me, but they read it. So maybe then, and when I call, I'm really nice. I'm like, not a bitch saying, hey, I can get into your shit, fix it. Yeah, I don't do that. I just say, I wanted to let you know that for some reason I got an email from when we were married. I don't even remember ever signing in there, but I can, access that. Maybe I'll actually go check and see if he was able to fix it, because today was Monday. I called the bank. It was so funny. I had to tell you this quick. I called the bank and I got a voicemail. and said, I'm sorry, but we're closed for Columbus Day. And then I called them back and they said, we're closed for Martin Luther King Day. And it's like, well, what? What? All I wanted to do was uh, activate my debit card, but and it said call during business hours. So I did. I woke up half asleep. Woke up half asleep. I woke up and I wasn't quite awake. Let's fix that a little bit. And so I dialed the number and it said call during business hours. So I did. They're not open, but I was still able to access, activate it. So it's like, so what's the point of putting it in there that I should call during business hours because they weren't open because it's Columbus Day. I laughed my ass off. It was so funny. I was just like, it's not Columbus Day. That was weird. So then when I called back, so I'm like not awake and I'm using my stylus on my phone. I kept hitting the wrong numbers. So it kept directing me into all these different deactivate a card. I'm like, no, I don't want to deactivate my card. I want to activate it. And no, it was actually, I wanted to set my pin. I know I've got a cold. I've got some upper respiratory shit going on here. Uh, I ain't feeling bad. I'm just a little congested and I don't know. It's really cold out. It's -2 Fahrenheit, I believe is what it said last. Yeah, -2. We're gonna hit a cold spell here, and I gotta go see my therapist, and then some bullshit with my doctor tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna stay, but we're talking about estrangement, and I don't like to, but I tend to get off track, and that's just what I do. I have ADD. I have many things. Anyway, if you can think of a way that I can relay a message to him, please drop your suggestion down in the comments. I'd really appreciate it because, frankly, I really don't know what to do. I don't know if his lawyer, after all this time, if he even has the same lawyer. Because if you look on the court system, it says where my lawyer dropped me or dismissed himself from me, whatever. But it doesn't say that with him. So I don't know if he has her on retainer. My lawyer says they're sleeping together. Whatever. So, sure. But my lawyer's so good, he never sent me a final bill. Yay. I pay my other lawyer. But anyway, um, I don't know. I cannot figure out really how to get a hold of him. I call him. I leave him a voicemail. I would imagine he listens to it because even though it's blocked, it still shows that you have a voicemail. Because he answers, but then it goes straight to voicemail. Or I should say, he doesn't answer, it goes straight to voicemail, so I know I'm blocked. But you still are notified that you have a voicemail. So but he's a narcissist and he's a dick. So that's being nice. If you have any ideas, let me know. Otherwise, have a good night and take care. And thank you. Subscribe. Thanks.